Okay, I'm live. Good morning. It's Thursday and it is the 27th of April 2023. Take care saying that because sometimes I get it wrong. I'm reading out of So Moses Was Born. This is a book about the old Egypt. It is written by Joan Grant. She was a seer. She wrote books of her far memories. She lived 1907 till 1989, and she was fascinating. I read all her books except this one, and in fact I have discovered more since. But I read Scarlet Feather, which was a beautiful book, and after I finished it, I felt inclined to read another, and this one is So Moses Was Born. This is the story of Nebunefer. He was originally going to be the royal heir, but when his father, the Pharaoh, dies, he yields the crook and flail to his younger brother, Ramesses II, and retires. Now many years have gone by, and Ramesses is the Pharaoh, and he needs to declare an heir himself, which he hasn't done yet. He has, I think, over 20 women who are pregnant and give birth around about all the same time, and they have all been, or most of them are in the old palace, which has been done up, which was in disarray, and they are now in this old palace, and I'm at the second part of this chapter. There was a lot of jealousy in that house. Penpi, she is the wife of Caradon, who is Nebunefer's brother and also Ramesses' brother. Penpi spoke to one of the servants who was carrying a pitcher of fruit juice and then drew me aside. It is as I thought. Duat has shut herself in her room again, but I expect she will agree to see me. She usually does, for I pretend to sympathize with her endless grumbles. To my surprise, she set off briskly along the path to the kitchen garden. Oh, I forget to tell you, I had to house her away from the others, for she said they deliberately kept her awake by banging on the partition wall. She's living in a storehouse where they used to keep onions, not very comfortable, but quite good enough. Even her personal servants dislike her, although she's been with her since she was a child. I felt mounting unease as Penpi knocked on the outer door of the mud brick shed. Was I to be the cause of giving Egypt a royal mother who seemed likely to be another Tua? The door opened grudgingly, and through the narrow crack peered an old woman, her face deeply scarred with a skin disease. When she recognized Penpi, she flung the door wide open, exclaiming, "How I rejoice to see the Princess Penpi! Grumble, grumble, grumble is all I hear, except when you take pity on me." She came out into the sunlight, pulling the door shut behind her. "Has the Princess Penpi spoken with Ptamas, the physician, today?" "Not yet. Should I see him before going to your mistress?" The old woman shrugged her narrow shoulders. "I can tell you for myself, for bad news is bad, whoever tells it." She glanced at me suspiciously. "Have I the Princess Penpi's permission to speak in front of the Lord, her companion?" "This is Nebunefer, famed in the south for his skill in the bringing forth of children. He is, of course, in my confidence, and shall be given the same obedience and respect as are due to you, Ptamas." The woman muttered something under her breath, of which I caught only enough to know that she disapproved of male midwives, and that she had recently been eating too much garlic. "We await your news with all eagerness," I said, genially, hoping to make her less hostile. "Ptamas, the physician has decided my mistress is to have twins, as though one child wouldn't be enough for me to look after, and too much." "Is he sure?" said Penpi, glancing at me to see if I was startled by the news. The old woman sniffed and rubbed the end of her long nose with the back of her none-too-clean hands. "He is sure enough. I could have told him myself 2 months ago if he had not been too grand to listen to someone so unimportant as me. A voice, shrill as an ungreased axle, pierced through the cracks of the door. "Who is there? Are you talking to yourself again, you horrid old hag?" "Now you see what I have to put up with," said the woman, throwing open the door with a clatter. "It is I," said Pempy, beckoning me to follow her, which I did with extreme reluctance. The shutters were closed, and at first I could see no more than a tangle of dark hair and a shapeless mound under a crumpled bed cover. "It is naughty of you to lie here in the dark," said Pempy firmly. "I told you 3 days ago that I should be most displeased if on my next visit I did not find you in the garden." The mound resolved itself into a girl whose eyes reminded me of an angry leopard's. I turned away for fear that I should see a sickle-shaped scar above her lowering eyebrows. Why should I be driven into the garden? Why should I let myself be tormented by I cannot soil my mouth with words to describe them. "Duart, you're being hysterical and ridiculous." Pempy's voice was brisk as cold water, but I had produced no beneficial effect. "So now they have turned you against me. Mine are the only royal children. The others are trying to foist bastards on Pharaoh, the spawn of field workers, soldiers, grooms, any low-born filth they could entice into this dreadful deception. Duart, I've told you over and over again that there is no possibility that any child born here will have a different father to your own. If you continue to talk like this, the physician Nebunefer, whose presence you have not had the courtesy to acknowledge, will think that your tirade hides a secret guilt of your own. You are as cruel and wicked as all the others. I shall punish you when my son is declared the royal heir. I shall make everyone sorry. No one will ever dare to be cruel to me again." "Which son, if you carry son and not daughters, will you choose as the instrument of your vengeance?" I said caustically, for in that moment I decided that if Horus had chosen this woman, then we must expect gods to be born from crocodiles' eggs. Pempy ignored her passionate tears and threw open the shutters. Seldom had I found a movement more difficult than turning my head towards the bed-place. Relief was brilliant as the sunlight which flooded the frosty room. Duart had a scar on her forehead, to be exact 5 scars, but they were only the relics of old boils. So this is the end of this chapter. The next chapter is entitled Birthdays. Have a lovely Thursday.